is Lillian Dreger, and we've lived here about 18 years.
And I'm her husband, Al. We've actually owned the property since 1987. I came home from a conference one weekend in 1987, and Lillian said to me, "I need 2 hours of your time this afternoon. I want to show you what I found." And she had found an advertisement in the Penny Saver for this property, which belonged to a developer who had a cash flow crisis. So we decided on the spot that this was the place where we would build our future home. There's such pressure on land that if you don't designate it to remain natural or to be restored, that it will be used for something. When we bought this land, it actually belonged to developers who had plans to put some 5 or 10 mega homes up in here, and this would have become sort of a woody suburb. As we've become a little more knowledgeable about what is in the forest and what should be there, we've become at times a little alarmed about the appearance of invasive species. For instance, I've been spending a lot of my time cutting down and poisoning the buckthorns. We're having a problem with a wild grass called Phragmites that we're just beginning to destroy. And unless we take some action, the changes will be adverse rather than beneficial for the community. We have in the past had a lot of difficulty with people who want to just tear through the place with their ATVs or their snowmobiles and are quite unaware of the damage that they do because they don't come back to look at the consequences of their passage. We're trying to encourage people to become more aware of the tenderness of nature to our passing.
There's certainly a big difference from the early years, because I think once people realize somebody actually owns this property, they are more respectful, yes. It's just lovely to be able to walk. I mean, even in the winter time, especially this winter, we've had gorgeous days where the sun is shining and the trees are covered with snow. And so we are lucky that we have this. We were thinking of giving this to a conservation somehow. And so Al looked on the internet and that sort of popped up.
As we were getting older, we felt we couldn't do all the work that needed to be done on this property to properly reclaim it. And we had gradually been focusing a vision for restoration of the land. Since it is from the mid-20th century an abused piece of farmland. So we looked around and were directed to Thames Talbot Land Trust and began to have conversations with them. In the first year after the land was transferred to Thames Talbot Land Trust, that various groups of biologists swinging through the property identified something like 290 species of plants. We have, for instance, a couple of blue ashes, which are supposed to be on the verge of extinction and only found on the shores of Lake Erie. But there are 3 of them here. And there are many species which I think don't yet have a name. But little by little you can see how the areas that we've cleaned up are regrowing the natural vegetation to this area.
People have asked if they can walk through. And now, of course, it is open. It is definitely open to the public to go for walks.
My father was an immigrant who came as an orphan, disconnected from his family, to Canada when he was 21 years old. And in that time in his life, he'd already experienced the loss of his family. He'd experienced the margins of the First World War, the Bolshevik Revolution, and the Civil War in that country afterwards, in which he'd been a child soldier at the age of 11 or 12. He probably had post-traumatic stress syndrome, but we didn't have the words for that condition at that time. So he relieved his fears and frightful past on us with terrible stories every day. And he always finished them up by telling us, this is the best place in the world to live. Be sure you do something in this life, in this country, to show that you appreciate being a Canadian. And I think what we were able to do here is something that falls within the parameters of his injunctions to us. We're dependent for our own lives on trees. We have to make people conscious of that. Plant life is the only source of oxygen in our atmosphere. Plants absorb carbon dioxide in their growth. So we have a need to maintain green spaces. Apart from what they do to heal our tired spirits from all the struggles of life, they also are physically essential for us carrying on.